Why is loving your fellow as yourself the foundation of the Torah? Because ultimately, the one phenomenon that we have in common is our soul. And in order to love someone else, to truly love someone else, we have to focus on our soul consciousness, on our spirit. And understand that just like I have a soul, I was endowed with a soul from God, with a purpose from God, with a spark of God. And that soul enclosed itself in a physical, corporal body. And that corporal body is here to perform a purpose for which the soul descended into this world. But so do you. And although your body consciousness might be very different than mine, we might have different properties, we might have different ages, different skin colors, different this, but that's the externality. That's the externality that which God decided that this soul has to enter. For this very reason, Judaism would not allow racism, sexism, or any of those stupid isms, because those isms are based on externalities, which we have no control over. That's God. So to deny a human being based on something external is literally to deny God. Why is this the foundation of the entire Torah? Because the entire Torah was there it was given to us, as the Torah emanates from God's will and wisdom, infinite will and wisdom. And the entire Torah and all of its mitzvot and all of its commandments were given to us in order to be able to amplify the soul over the body. Not just our soul over the body, over our particular bodies, but the soul of the universe, the soul of the world, over the physicality, mind over matter, spirit over body. Someone who's going to truly love cannot make their body consciousness primary, as the Alter Rebbe explains in chapter 32 of Tanya. There's someone who makes their body consciousness, their physical self, the focus, will never be able to love anyone else. Because at best your bodies are compatible, but they're not one. And so you'll never be able to achieve oneness. You'll have unity, which is okay, but with unity you could take anything, glue it together, and now wherever this goes, this goes. But if it gets hot enough, that glue is going to melt. And then you're going to go back to being two again. So yeah, you could have compatibility, but that's not oneness. The aim is to discover this spirit of every single item, every experience, and amplify that over the physical. Because the physical is here to act as a vehicle for the spirit. For that reason, we need the physical. It's absolutely holy. All physical interactions, they're holy. Or in potential matter. In potential, it could be holy. It depends what's driving it. Who is driving it? So from the animal soul's perspective, from the ego's perspective, the physical is the main driver, and that's it. If there's going to be any spirituality attached to it, well, that is there to make me feel better about life. That is there to enhance me, to make me feel good. To the extent that, with the third commandment, don't use my name in vain, our commentaries explains what is, aside from the practical, that we're not allowed to utter Hashem's name just for no reason. Hence we call him Hashem, the name. We don't refer to him by his explicit name because we're not allowed to, unless it's in a verse, unless it's in a prayer. But The deeper aspect of the third commandment is, don't use me for your leverage. God says, don't use religion for your benefit. Don't use it to fight others. Don't use it to put down others. Don't use it to make yourself feel good or yourself to feel wise or you feel to holy, because that's not what it's here for. We know that those who pursue learning and davening and all, even to do all the mitzvot, but they're doing it to make themselves wise, holy, or whatever it is, that's poison, that's toxic. That's using God for your own benefit. It's like using a friend because he has a car or he has this and this, and let me be very friendly with him. Let me do what he needs because eventually he'll give back to me. To use God to go to heaven, well, that's a problem. To use God not to go to Gehenom, that's a problem. Because then you're not serving him, you're serving yourself. And that's what all religions end up becoming. I don't want to go to hell and I want to go to heaven. What do I have to do about this world? Do I have to blow this world? Do I blow up this world? Do I have to ignore this world? Do I have to convert the world? What do I have to do about this world? Because this world inevitably is getting in my way from getting my candy. So I don't care what I do in this world so long as I get my candy. Because what's the biggest fear of the animal soul? What's the biggest fear of the human condition? The animal soul, the ego, defines itself by existing. It exists. What does it mean existing? It's taking up time and space. And the biggest ambition of the ego is, I want more time, more space. More things, more cars, more this, more this, more this. But for what reason? No reason other than I want it. That's it. Because I'm afraid not to have it. And you listen, I mean, I grew up not observant back in the 90s, grew up in the project, so we would listen to Biggie and all that, like back when everything blew up back then. But when you listen to it as an adult, what are they saying? I have more cars, I have more this. And okay, so you have more cars, and what are you doing with it? Are you helping people drive? Are you giving free rides to people? You have all this money, okay, and what are you doing with it? You have all these girls, but you have one relationship in your life. In other words, yeah, I have more, but for what? Having more is great if there's a purpose that's driving that. The animal, so the ego, doesn't see purpose. Its only purpose is self-absorption. Survival of the fittest. It needs to protect itself.
So can I ask a question about your example where you glued you said if it's unity, then it's just held together by glue. But I guess the question is, if we're already one, then to even try to become one is separation in and of itself.
No. The neshama is one. The soul is one. The aim of all of creation is to bring that oneness of God into what seems to be a complex world. But to reveal within the complexity is all one. Within every aspect of creation. Within every human being.
So how do you reveal it besides knowing it?
That's the mitzvot. That's the purpose of mitzvot. That's the commandments. The commandment, as we said before, is only a commandment as far as it doesn't come natural to the ego, to the animal soul. You're not told to eat, because every creature eats. You're told to eat kosher. For what purpose? To reveal within the physicality of the world, within the human condition, the oneness of God. Right? That's the aim of all of creation. That's the aim of, as we learned the other day in the relationship class, that ultimately our relationships are part and parcel of our spiritual service. But for that to happen, we can't be bogged down by the physicality. The aim, of course, is not to eliminate the animal soul. God forbid. We need it. It's what makes us corporal. It was given our physical life. It's not to eliminate the physicality and the corporeality of this world. That too is not the purpose, because otherwise, why would God send our souls into this world? Could have just left our souls in heaven. Because it wouldn't make sense that God would take our souls from the heavens of heavens and create a physical, corporeal world that conceals everything, and invest our souls into this world for 70, 80, 120 years just so we could go back to heaven if we don't mess up. That's an issue. The aim is to transform the physicality into a dwelling place for God. That every physical thing in this world will be a dwelling place for God, where we're drawing God, heaven, into earth. The aim is not to go to heaven. The aim is to draw heaven into the earth, into every aspect of earthliness, of worldliness. And that's what the mitzvah. So the mitzvah, the commandment in itself, is a commandment so far as the animal soul doesn't want to comply with it. It's going against its grain. But as we said before, the root of the word mitzvah, etymologically, the word mitzvah is connected to tzavta v'chibur, which is connection. And that each mitzvah, each commandment, has the opportunity to connect the physical and the spiritual, the infinite, the finite, the human, the creator and creation, time, space, and everything between it. And that's how we do it. There's learning the Torah, there's a mitzvah, every aspect of what we're given is there in order to draw this and transform the world. And that's why loving your fellow is the base of all of the Torah. Because in order to truly love, as we said before, the animal soul is capable of loving, but it's not capable ever of truly loving. It'll only love as long as it serves it. As long as it makes it feels good. Right? You listen to most of the songs, I love you, you inspire me, I can't live without you, and this and that and that. But what is that saying? You are here to be my crutch. You're here to make me feel good. You're here to inspire me, to make me feel the best. You drive me to, yeah, that's all good. That's all good. But if that's the base of the relationship, it's not a relationship. You're not relating. You're using. The animal soul is only capable of loving so long as that love serves it. But it's never capable of truly loving anyone else. For it, someone else is nothing more than a incidental footnote in their own biography.
How did you explain the animal soul needs to be subjugated so it serves the godly soul?
Yeah.
And it's truly love if it gets shechted in a way that it can...
Shechted? No, you don't shecht your animal soul. God forbid. Why? Subjugated is not shechting it.
I thought that's what Tanya said.
No. Subduing it. Subduing the animal. In other words, yeah, go ahead and eat. But eat with a purpose. To elevate the food, to elevate yourself. In other words, yeah, if it tastes good, it's great. That's amazing. But the aim is not to placate your palate. The aim is to elevate. Shabbos is an inyan to eat pleasurable food. There's nothing wrong with pleasure. Just the opposite. Pleasure is the highest of the abilities of the soul, of the powers of the soul. But it has to have an absolute purpose. Otherwise, it's like a fire. Fire is great when utilized correctly. If it's just incidental, whatever. That's why children shouldn't play with fire. Because children, for them, it's like a nice phenomenon. It's like interesting. But not understanding that it could become very chaotic very quickly. The animal soul is like a child. It is like a child. What's the difference? As we learned the other day, the animal soul is all emotions, and the godly soul is cerebral. The animal soul is like emotion. I love you. I this and this. Like I'm very upset. You go from one extreme to another because there's no intellect that's driving the emotions. It's like children running in the street without their parents. See a candy, I want it. Do you need this candy? Is it healthy? What do you need it for? That you're willing to run to the street. Intellect is what emotion do I need to use over here? Because my emotions are not me. My thoughts are not me. I'm my soul. My thoughts and my emotions are there to utilize, to serve God. So which emotion is needed in this situation? It's not what I feel, what I don't feel. What is needed from me is obligation. And so that's why that's the base of the entire Torah. Because in order to truly love, cannot be based on the body consciousness. It has to be based on the soul. And every one of us has a soul. And for that you can love every human being. Because every human being was created by God. That's very simple. Notwithstanding philosophies and backgrounds, but as the Rabbi once explained, that there was a rabbi who was invited to an interfaith dialogue. And Judaism doesn't allow for such a thing. Because it's never a dialogue. It's ego versus ego. I want to prove you wrong. And that's all it is. It's not like, okay, so after listening to you, I'm... Rather, the Rabbi explains that you should explain to the priest, to the imam, and so on and so forth, that the entire world is one big body. The human being, as the Torah says, is a microcosm, a micro world. And the world is a macro human being. And just like in the body, we have all the organs, 248 base organs, and 365 base sinews, and so on and so forth. Each one is radically different than the other. The left ventricle is different than the right ventricle of the heart. Two different ways of streaming. The liver is different than the spleen. Certainly the spleen is different than the toenail. And the toenail is definitely different than the cornea. But in their source, all of these organs come from the same drop that in conception that impregnated the egg. And in that drop, it was all included in potential. As the conception and gestation and the pregnancy went on, and the womb, and the mother developed, over here should be a right ventricle, over here a left ventricle, over here a spleen, over here. But it's all part of the same source. It just when it manifests differently. For what purpose? For a purpose, to have life. So too, all of humanity, all of creation is there from the same source, the same God. It just manifests differently. But we all have the same purpose, which is to make this world brighter and holier. Each one does it differently, that's all. Very simple. For that reason, imagine the heart telling the brain, listen, you are so lazy up there, sitting in your ivory tower. What do you do all day already? Compared to me, you're a lazy bum. You do nothing. Start pumping blood. Do something. You can understand what would happen if, God forbid, that would happen. And what if, God forbid, the brain tells the heart, listen, you're such a busybody. At what time are you going to relax? Just take a day off. You're always busy, running around, do pumping. Stop. Relax, you make me nervous. God forbid, even for a second. Every part has its unique purpose. for which it was created. Purpose precedes existence. Purpose drives life. Without purpose, it's just existence, just occupying meaningless time and space. Every human being is created for a purpose. Everyone, every creature. If we learn that, the Baal Shem Tov teaches that the stirring of a leaf one direction or another is by divine providence. That there's a reason why a certain leaf falls in a certain place for a certain ant and so on and so forth. How much more so humanity? How much more so human perceptions and understanding? Now, if there's a common denominator, yes, God gave every human being the way to serve Him. To all of humanity, God gave the 7 mitzvot, the 7 commandments of Noach. Believe in one God. Don't speak blasphemy. No murder, no adultery, no stealing. Don't be cruel to animals. And have a just court system. Not a corrupted as we see in the world. And so, every human being, God says, that does this for me, not because it's logical, because it's logical. It all makes sense. You want a normal society, you can't have any of this stuff. Look at the last 5 years. Look at the last 10 years here in America. Look at what happened. All this because of stupid court system, because the court system are not acting as they need to. You start judging people on their skin color, on their race, and this. This is the problem. This is denying God, and that's what happens when you move God out of the picture. Then everybody's scattered, and everybody has their differences, and that's all there is, difference. There's no common denominator. And then what happens after that? Well, my difference is greater than yours. I could use my difference to suppress you, to put you down, to enslave you to my desires, to my needs. And that comes in so many different ways. So many different ways. And we've seen it, and we see the destructiveness of it. All that because one loves themselves, and the only way that they love someone else is that the other will serve them. But loving your fellow as yourself, well, who's yourself? Your godly soul. The spark of God within yourself. That's your true self. That's your essence. And just like I have it, you have it. Everything in this world has it. And my entire purpose is to remove the layering that conceal that and reveal the ultimate truth. And amplify that truth over the physical so everything will be used correctly in this world. In a holy manner, in a luminescent manner. What's the word holy in Hebrew? One of the meanings of the word holy means translucent. That it allows light to pass through and through it. So it doesn't obscure its source. It reveals its source. So the aim is not to destroy and eliminate the physicality, just the opposite. Reveal the true nature of everything in this world. That could only come from respect. What's respect? Unlike love, where love drives us together based on our common denominator, respect allows me to view your particular uniquenesses, your quirks, that which sets you different than me. In other words, your individualism, your opinion, your perception. I might not agree with you on that. But that's the way you understand things. I could argue with you based on what I don't agree, but out of respect to you. Not to destroy you. As we said before in the relationships class, The difference between argument, which is okay to argue, it's okay. Fighting is never okay. Arguing is based on what is right. I have my opinion, you have yours. I have my understanding, so do you. I have my data that help me formulate my understanding, but I recognize at the same time, so do you. And we could argue back and forth. It could be a heated argument. But the argument in itself is there to reveal what is right. And therefore, it's always going to be done with respect and dignity. Never to put the person down, God forbid. The opinion, you're not the opinion. You're a human being. You're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions. You're a human being, you're a piece of God. So if it's done out of respect and humility, I'll say my part, and then when you speak, I'm going to listen. But I'm truly listening because I want to understand what is right. And after I present, you present, we go back and forth. Eventually, one of us will be able to prove that this is what is correct. And being that the entire aim was to discover what is correct, once that's proven, all right, the other one will concede, and there will be no discord between them. Because the point there was never an issue between them, it was between opinions. It was a sincere desire to find out what was right. A fight is always about who is wrong. It has nothing to do with what's right. I want to be right. Why? Because of ego. So because of that, I don't care so much what is right. Even if I think I'm wrong, I'm going to go all out at you. Because I want to be real right. And in order for me to be right, you have to be completely wrong. And because of that, the more you resist, the more I'm going to have to drive you and pummel you until there's nothing left of you. And that's annihilation. That's evil. And you see what happens in the world when everybody says, it's me, myself, and if you don't join us, we're going to have an issue. If you don't see the way we do, if you don't understand the way we do, if you don't pray like the way we do, if you don't elect like we do, or we don't like that, you don't deserve to exist. You cancel. That's the epitome of evil. That's the epitome of the animal mentality. Survival of me. I'm the fittest, and you're nothing than a footnote in reality. That's a fight. Character assassination. You know, Stalin used to say this. You get rid of the person, you get rid of the problem. And unfortunately, we see this incorporated into today's world, the cancel culture and that stupidity. This is why Rabbi Akiva's student passed away. It's not that they didn't love each other. Love each other, they loved. They truly loved. But a love that's not based on respect. As we said in the first part of this course, is going to end up overwhelming the other person completely. What does that mean? I love you so much that if I think that chocolate ice cream is the best, you must love it too. You know why? Because I want you to have the best, just like I want me to have the best. And because I love you, I want you to have the best. But the person says, no, I'm not into that. Yeah. That's because you don't know, because you didn't taste it yet. Come on. No, I'm telling you, I tried it. No, come on. You have to try it. I understood something. You must understand the same way. No, yeah, I get it, but I got my perception. No. That's because you don't know yet. Don't worry. Come on. In other words, it's the fact that I want you to taste it. The fact that I want you to understand it is not because I considered your individualism. It's because I'm engrossed in myself. And you're not worthy of being individual other than if you are like me. When I was a kid, remember after Limelight, after I used to go to this club, we used to go to the park, Washington Square Park, like 7, 8 in the morning. And we would hang out there, skateboarding until the next part, the after party would begin somewhere, like whatever. Remember one time I came in my Adidas stuff, my hair was bleached blonde, and the earring and stuff, and a rabbi stops me and asks me, we started a conversation. I used to love speaking to everyone, so he stops me and asks me, we get into a conversation, and in the course of the conversation, he asked me, why did you dye your hair blonde and stuff like that. And I said, wow, I'm expressing myself. I'm being unique. I'm expressing my uniqueness. So he turns me around to all my friends, like 30, 40 people behind us, like they're playing hacky sack and skateboarding, whatever it is. And he turns me around and it's like unique like everybody else, right? And I turn around and we all dressed the same. We all looked the same, literally the same haircut, the same style. I was like, wow, I never realized that. Unique like everybody else. So yeah, the culture wants you to be unique so long as you fit the bill of uniqueness that they approve of. But if you're truly unique, you don't belong because it's not tolerated. And that's where the cancel culture. Well, if you're not like us, then you don't have space. And that's what happened to Rabbi Akiva's students. Each one truly loved each other. But that love wasn't tapered by respect. It wasn't based on respect. And when that happens, that love becomes damaging. It becomes overwhelming. Like we said before, with a mother who's, I love my child so much, I'll negotiate every single failed test in the class, every person's about, I will go take care of everything, I won't let him fall out. That seems as love. And it might be. But that's a toxic love. It's a smothering love. It's a love that doesn't allow for the child to grow up and take responsibility. That's the type of love that we spoke about, that in psychology says that love induces so much inner anxiety in the child that when eventually they have to deal in life with their own, any time the animal soul will even perceive that there's a chance that they might have to do something on their own, they're going to go into anxiety and panic mode because they're not sure of themselves. They have no confidence because the love didn't allow them to grow up. We can see how that type of love also in a relationship becomes abusive. It's codependence. There's no room for you other than me. That's where abuse begins. Where does abuse begin? Not in the raising of the hand, not with the sharp tongue. Those are all symptomatic of the core. What's the core? The lack of respect. Once there's no respect, that's the seed that, if allowed to grow, will become abuse. Because abuse means I could do whatever I want to you. I could say whatever I want to you because I'm in a bad mood, because I feel inadequate, or whatever it is. But because whatever I feel, I'm allowed to just mouth off and put you down, whatever it is. Why? Because your individualism doesn't matter. Your perception, your emotions, they don't matter. Because anything that's not serving me doesn't matter. Now, there's a whole range of that, but that's how it is. And that was the seed. This is where the 24,000 students of Rabbi Akiva passed away. They loved each other. But each one, after listening to their great Rabbi Kiva deliver his lecture afterwards, when they would sit together and they would review the studies, each one was like, no, you didn't get it. It's not the way. That's not. I understood it differently. And said, yeah, but I too understand. No, your way of understanding doesn't matter. They would put each other. They would be disrespectful on that level. That's what was missing. See, this is not just a by the way kind of a incident. This teaches you that even at the highest of level of pursuing God, godliness, true spirituality, it must always be in check. Who am I doing this for? If it's done for me, it doesn't, like we learned, and we're going to learn in the relationship class, it's okay if that's where it began. Because after all, we first and foremost identify ourselves with our body consciousness, with our animal soul. To get to the godly, you have to work on yourself. But so it's okay if it starts with something external, but you have to grow. So a person might be looking for spirituality, whatever it is, but after a while, like you have to insert yourself to the relationship wholeheartedly. So in the same vein, when you're looking for truth, no matter how it started, you have to constantly consider what's the motivation behind it right now. What's driving it right now?
Our own motivation or others around us too?
Ours. We don't have control over other people, nor should we try to control other people. Whether you agree with them or not, that's them. We have to be ourselves. There's a saying, there's not millions of problems in the world, there's only one. And that's whatever each person has for themselves. But as it happened, the world created so much distraction on purpose that each one will view on social media and movies and this and gossip what's going on with someone else and get involved with something that has nothing to do with them, to drive them away from what they need to do. So they always focus on the other person rather than themselves. You work on you. You want to help the other person, help them. But you got to first work on you. As we learned 2 weeks ago, that ultimately the pathway to serve God is a symbiotic. It's beauty. It's two colors in one. I have to work on myself, but that self-work has to be in tune with making the world around me better, not being away from the world. But at the same time, the opposite of that is, well, I'm going to be fully focused on the world and not work on myself. And that either way is destructive. The way it is, it has to be mutually inclusive. Self-work has to resonate and translate into the world around you. And working on the world has to translate into you becoming better. But that should be, we're seeing that even in the highest of tiers of learning and so on and so forth and serving God, we have to constantly check, what is the motivation? What's the intention here? If the intention is God, then you're going to look at every human being, every single situation as this is from God. This person was created by God. They might be different than me, they might look different, that's okay, that's fine. I didn't create them, God did. I can't judge someone based on externality, because then I'm saying God doesn't know what he's doing. Or God is only responsible for a portion of creation. Who's responsible for the other? That was the driving force behind the plague that broke out. There's incongruency amongst them. And once there's incongruency, it opens up for all kinds of issues. Oneness is a vessel for the one God. Disparity, allows for the klipot, for the ungodliness to start leaching. Because any time there's going to be disconnection, room for darkness, for the opposite of clarity, the other side tries to come and leech, because they see there's like the integrity has been worn off, and there's a place to leech and get the energy. So anytime there's strife, ego, and so on and so forth, God says there's no room for me in the same place, as it were. But the other side will come and see the ungodly forces will start leeching on, because that's the energy. We must always strive for oneness. And that oneness is not overwhelming. Your oneness has to be like mine. Oneness is, I see you for who you are. Not what you think, not what you say, not what you did. That's what you think, that's what you said, that's what you did. That's not you. You did it. You thought it. You were saying it. That's not you. You're a piece of God. That's why the Mishnah says, Havidan is kol adam lechavzus. If you're going to judge someone, judge the entirety of the person. Everything. Not just his act, not his, the person themselves. The person themselves. And the purpose of judging, because the Mishnah could have just said, consider the entirety of the person when you look at them. Why judge? Because the aim is to first and foremost see the person, the human. As we already learned, you don't answer the person, you don't answer the question, you answer the person who's asking the question. But the aim is to help the person reveal who they are. And if they're acting congruent, you know that that's not them. They're holy. It's underneath layers of pain, of trauma, of this and this, but that's not them. They're not the pain, they're not the trauma. This is what happened to them. Aim is to draw the person out. And there, the judgment over there is to show the person, this is not you. You're not the mistake. You're not the success either. Don't get carried away with either. This is something you have accomplished. You are beyond this. Help the person come out. Like somebody came to a rabbi and said, this happened to one of my colleagues, and he posted it. He has an institution for like a school for girls, for young religious girls. And one of his students came to him and said, "Listen, Rabbi, there's a girl that, like my friend would maybe want to join, but I don't know if she would fit. She doesn't know if she's going to fit. So tell her come. Let's interview her." So the young woman came and she said to the rabbi, "I'm surely not going to fit here because I'm lesbian." The rabbi said, "You're not lesbian. You're not lesbian, just like you're not a construction worker, you're not like this. That's not who you are. That's what you do. You are a piece of God. You belong. What you choose to do, that's, you want to discuss it, we can discuss it, but that's what you do. We're not a title. We're not a title. Everything is a container for a godly spark, for godliness. Everyone. That's their essence. That's who they are. What they do with that, well, that's something else. But to utilize what the person does against who they are, that's evil. To cut down a person for what they do. In other words, there's no human being behind it. This creates all the incongruencies in society today. all the anxieties and all the disorder, all of those things come because most people don't understand who they are. You think about how sometimes, God forbid, parents speak to their children when they make a mistake. Spouses speak to each other, neighbors speak to each other, colleagues speak. You put the person down, not realizing that, wait, that's what they did. You want to help them out? Go ahead. Sit down with them out of respect to who they are, maintaining their dignity in order to help them reshape. You know what would happen if that would happen? That most people's defense system would be up and they would be readily willing to work and grow. It might not be the growth that I'm accustomed to, but it'll be their growth. And that's fine. For this reason, the externalities have to be viewed as the vehicle for the internal. So we know that with senior citizens, there's one way, right? You could say that, wait a second, they could be cranky and that and that and that. No, that's what they're doing. But them, they're a human being. You have to treat them with dignity. You have to speak up to them. They live life. They experience life. For one reason or another, this is how they are today. And what about every single person? That's the whole point. You view the externality as a vehicle to the internal. We'll continue this after lunch. Thank you so much.